Wednesday, so I'm going to do a top 5 Wednesday video. This is taken from the actual top 5 Wednesday forum where they do top 5s based on books each week. And so this is my top 5 favorite villains. This is a very tough one because how is something ranked as your favorite villain? Is it because they scare you? Is it because they have redeeming qualities? Is it because they're interesting? It's tough to gauge that. So mine's a mixture of all 3 of those things. Number 5 is Slappy. This is the ventriloquist dummy from Night of the Living Dummy, Night of the Living Dummy 2, Night of the Living Dummy 3, etc., 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 all of the Goosebumps books. Slappy is the most popular Goosebumps villain, and for a good reason. He's terrifying. Maybe the only book villain that has ever actually scared me. I read those books as a child, didn't have any problem with most of the other ones, but Night of the Living Dummy scared me. And I still am a little bit nervous about ventriloquist dummies because they might be coming to life and trying to get me. Number 4 is Dolores Umbridge from the Harry Potter series. I tried to limit myself to not putting a bunch of people from the same series on here. So I had to pick one person from Harry Potter, and I actually like Umbridge more than I like Voldemort or Bellatrix or Grindelwald or any of the other villains mentioned in the series. And that's mostly because I love to hate Umbridge. She is just the embodiment of all of the terrible things in a very different way than Voldemort is. Because Voldemort has this evil heart and a little bit of belief, and Umbridge is just infuriating because you feel like she should know better, she should do better, and she is on a power trip in a very different way. So I've always hated her the most. And that's part of what makes her a better choice for me. Plus, she gets the best send-off, and Fred and George are on their game that year. So I enjoy that book for that reason. And I just think Umbridge is a little bit more dynamic and interesting and frustrating. And also maybe part of the reason that she annoys me so much is that Umbridge exists in the real world. You know people like that who are political zealots in a certain way that just clearly doesn't make any sense, but they believe it hardcore, and all you want to do is be like, oh my gosh, you are so dumb and annoying, and I just would love it. If somebody chased you off into the woods and you had nightmares about centaurs for the rest of your life. There are several people in the political sphere right now that I wouldn't mind doing that to. Number 3 is Moriarty from the Sherlock Holmes series. Moriarty was going to make this list always. He's a very fascinating villain. He gets brought back again and again. He matches wits with Sherlock Holmes, which is a hard thing to do, and he carries a lot of mystery, which always makes him interesting, and I've always enjoyed Sherlock Holmes, and kind of the balance of him versus Moriarty is really nice, and other interpretations of Moriarty have been interesting throughout the years. Number 2 is my comic book villain. This was a very, very tough choice, and I tried to limit myself to one comic book villain, and I chose Typhoid Mary, because she's insane. I got introduced to Typhoid Mary when I started reading the original Deadpool series, and in that series, 2 of her personalities hire Deadpool to break her out of prison, and then she proceeds to convince him that he can't possibly be a good guy, he should be a killer, which he fights against for a while, and then she does some really, really terrible things, going so far as disguising herself as the object of Deadpool's affection and spending the night with him, and then revealing in the morning that it was all a lie, which was a major gut punch for me reading the comics, and she's just like that everywhere. I've read her in several different places. She's crazy, and it's great. She's also going to be in the new Daredevil series, I think, so that's really exciting. She's insane. She's in a lot of Daredevil. She's in a lot of Deadpool. She mixes her hands on with everything. And I just enjoy watching the havoc that she creates. And she manages to gut punch people in a way that the other villains don't necessarily manage. Like, she's not necessarily the smartest, she's not the richest, she also doesn't end up with the highest body count, but she can emotionally gut punch heroes so well. And my number one favorite villain is here because it's my number one favorite book, and that's Captain Hook from Peter Pan. You just can't go wrong. What a great classic villain. He is everything that the children want to fight against, but also cool in his own right, and kind of fun. And there are a lot of versions and adaptations of him. Captain Hook has evolved over the years, and so he's a really interesting villain, and that's part of what makes him my favorite. And he faces off against one of my all-time favorite characters, Peter Pan, so that helps. So yeah, those are my top 5 villains from books. Let me know in the comments if you would choose different people or who your top 5 villains are. I'd be really interested to know. And let me know if you like any of the villains I chose. I'll see you tomorrow.